This story was told to me, a long time, maybe 40 years ago. There was a fellow in Kfar Chabad, his name was Rabbi Nechemia Lis. And Nechemia Lis, he was an old man. He passed away. He passed away a long time ago. I don't know, maybe 40 years ago. But I used to help him build his sukkah every year. So he told me some things. He told me a story. And one story he told me was like this. He said that he was in the Russian army. He fought with the Tsar. The Tsar. He was in the Tsar's army. And I think he was in tanks. I guess there was tanks in World War One. There was still tanks. And he fought the Tsars. And he got all sorts of medals and things like that. And of course, basically Russia lost the First World War, but he was all decorated and decorated. And then there was the communist revolution, and the communists took over. And so he proudly went, because he was a loyal Russian citizen. So he went to the communist headquarters to report that they should give him some sort of work or give him whatever as a position or. So instead of that, they said if you were loyal to the Tsar, then you're a traitor, and they put him into jail. And from jail, they sent him to Siberia. And in Siberia, he was there with a lot of other people that nobody knew exactly why they were there. What was their sin? So they said to him that his sentence was 15 years in Siberia, or if you wanted to, 3 years in an ice ship. On an ice ship. What is an ice ship? Icebreaker. Oh, icebreaker. They said they wanted to make an outpost in some, who knows where places in the Arctic or something, Russia. And they had an icebreaker ship. And every year that he would be there, it was like 5 years in prison, 5 years or 3 years, whatever it was. But not only that, they would give good food. Every day you got a whole loaf of bread. They had fish, they had meat. He wasn't a religious Jew. They had fish, they had meat, they had whatever. So he said, okay, I'll sign up. So he said he signed up for this icebreaker, and they went, breaking through the ice. They went to Siberia. It was like 100 whatever people it was, and they had on the ship there was all this materials, and then they had to build an outpost over there. Of course, cold in Siberia, it's cold, it's colder than like in your refrigerator and in your freezer. It's like 20 degrees below zero, cold. Anyway, so they went to this place. They took them a couple of months until they got there, breaking through the ice. And they got to this place and they staked the place out. And they started building. They built a fence all around it. And they built the place. They built places for them to live. And they built this and this. And they had radio contact and everything like that. But for whatever reason it was, all the 100 men, they started getting sick, and a couple of them died, and more of them died. And then the ship broke down. They had to send people to fix it. And anyway, he was there for terrible, terrible conditions. This is what he told me. He said he was there for that's right. Every year was 3 years. That's what it is. Every year was 3 years. So he was supposed to be there for 5 years, right? So he was there for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, they sent another boat, and they said, we've abandoned the project. Abandoned the project. There was only like 10 of them left by that time. And he was one that was left. And they brought everybody back. And when he got back, they said, okay, you're free. So he realized that he was there for 2 years, or 3 years, 2 years. And that in that time, he did absolutely nothing. Did absolutely nothing. It was just a whole total waste of time. So it sort of bothered him. It bothered him. He didn't understand what in the world would he have to go to a place and do nothing and receive nothing and come back with absolutely nothing. It had nothing in his hands. It had nothing whatsoever. What he couldn't figure it out. And so eventually it became sort of he told me it's sort of like, he didn't have that much to think about anyway. So it became sort of an obsession by him. How could it be that he went to this place? He totally wasted 3 years of his life. He worked, and instead nobody got any benefit from him. It was nothing whatsoever. So he said that one night he was walking down the street. I guess he would walk the streets at night. So he walked down the street and he heard singing coming from a place. So he saw it was a Farbrengen, a Chassidic Farbrengen. He never knew what this was. And he asked them, "What is this?" They said, "Well, we're Jews, and we're Chassidim, and we're making a forgiveness." So he said, "Well, I'm also a Jew. I'm also a Jew. Good, come sit with us." He sits down, and one of them tells a story. It says, one of them tells a story. He said, once there was a Chassid, excuse me, of the Rebbe of Ruzhin, and this Chassid got an offer by a very rich man, excuse me, by a very rich man to go to India and buy this special stone, a big sort of a block of stone, because this man was fantastically rich, and he wanted the stone to be a a gravestone for him. It would be his gravestone. It's a beautiful sort of a stone. Somehow or other he knew about the stone. It was for sale. He wanted this chassid to go and to get the stone. So he asked the Rebbe of Ruzhin, and the Rebbe of Ruzhin said, "You definitely should go." So the rich man gave him a lot of money, and he gave him a special place on a ship. And he was supposed to go to do this, and he went to India, and he paid the money, and he got the stone, was coming back with the stone on the ship, and the ship sank. And just by miraculously, he swam to some island, and it was on this island for a year, for 2 years, whatever. And then another ship in the distance came and picked him up and brought him back to Poland or wherever it came from in the beginning. So, of course, when the ship sank with the stone in it, also everything that he had done, it was all. So I don't remember, to tell you the truth, if the ship sank when he was on his way to India or coming back, but it doesn't make any difference. In any case, he came back to Poland, and he had lost everything. He lost the money, he lost the stone, lost his time. So he went to the house of the rich man, because he had lived in a big sort of a big mansion. Went to his house and knocked on the door. Somebody else answered the door. Said, "Can you tell me where is Count Pladovsky?" I don't know who that is. So, well, who owned the house before you? So such and such a person. This is, where's that person? I don't know. He left. I don't know where he lives. We just made an agreement, and I have the papers. As far as I know, the person who sold the house to me, he died. So he says, "Wow, look at this. I went to this place. I was there. I bought the stone. I came back. I lost the stone. I lost the money. The person who sold it to me is not even alive. It's like the whole thing never really existed." So he went to the Rebbe of Ruzhin and asked him why. What happened? So the Rebbe of Ruzhin said, the Rebbe of Ruzhin said that place where you went to buy the stone were sparks of holiness that had never been elevated. And when you went there and made blessings in that place, and you prayed, you stayed there for a couple of days, is that elevated the sparks that were in that place, and that's what had to be done. Said Rabbi Nechemia that that's probably what happened with me. I went to this place, I'm a Jew, and I went to that place, I was there, probably there was some sort of sparks that had to be elevated, and I elevated them, and that's the only explanation I can figure out why I was there in this place. That ends the story. And so maybe I have to change the story a little bit. Maybe it could be he told me that he left Judaism, but it could be that maybe he did some blessings over there or something in the place where he was in Siberia. The point is, wherever we go, we elevate sparks of holiness and put blessing into the world. And that's what Rabbi Nechemia did. And that's what the Chassid of the Rebbe of Ruzhin did. And that's what we're doing. Have a good day with Mashiach now. See you all tomorrow.